POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised.
Sounds like a time bomb, folks, because it's time for WPOV Global. We're about to explode all over this place, all over the interweb. I'm your host, the legend T. James Logan. With me, the man who's only the gentleman that I know, Elio Canella. Elio, say hi to the good folks.
How's it going, listeners?
Now, hey, I got to ask, how's that week been going for you, Elio? Was it a strong one, good one? What are we talking?
Oh, my week was pretty good. I got to see pretty much every show. I actually sat down earlier. I started watching Masters of the Craft, the ROH show that took place on Sunday night.
Holy smokes, that's even more than I did. Wow. I got to tell you, folks, you can't see us right now, but if you could, for the last couple of weeks, I've been calling Elio a goddamn hippie, but it looks like he cut his hair. He got rid of that rat's nest on his face that he called a beard, and now he looks like a gentleman.
TJ suggested I grow a mullet. What?
I suggested a mullet, and I guess you realized how crazy your hair was getting and thought, maybe it's time to go clean as a peach. Anyways, Elio, it's good to see you, my friend. I'll tell you, this has been a rough week for me, okay?
Oh.
Today is officially, on this show, episode 25. This is my 25th episode in a row. I have not missed an episode yet.
Wow.
However, I'm going to say today was almost that first day where 2 hours ago, I was almost like, I don't want to do an episode. I don't want to do anything. I'm just like, I want to go home and sleep and just forget everything. Yeah, it's a bit of a rough week, folks. There's all kinds of, there's like some sickness drama going on in our family. It was my son's birthday. There was all kinds of crazy stuff that up and down. And I did watch wrestling, yeah, but it was rough. And we came into the show here and I'm thinking, usually by now I've got like tons of notes I've taken, and I've took all my, I've made little bullet points of what analyses that I have. But I'll tell you, I'm coming in today, and Elio can probably see in front of me, I ain't got no notes. I ain't got jack. But I have watched the wrestling. I do have an opinion. And you know what? There's two things, brother. Two things that brought me on today's show that made me not think, I don't want to do it today and come up with some lame excuse.
What are those two?
One was you, Elio. My brother. You've been here since what, episode 6? And
something like that.
Yeah, you've had my back every week, and we've had fun. And
I was plucked out of the jungles of Russia, where I was teaching the natives about the sport of professional wrestling.
You're right. You were rescued by Little Big. You saw them. They brought you on tours, got you out of Russia. They heard about me. They heard about me pseudo stalking. I'm not sure what that's all about of them, and they said, "Hey, this guy's into wrestling. You're into wrestling." Boom. They matched us up together, and here we are. You're one of the reasons, because you have never let me down, so I felt like I can't let down Elio. And second of all, believe it or not, the fans. We've seen the numbers. People are out there. You're listening to us. They're not exactly the most talking to us at all, but you guys have been...
I know. Right?
Yeah, that kind of hurts us, but you have been listening. So obviously, you give a crap about what we're talking about, and you're kind of curious to see... And I just always want to say this to fans who listen to these kind of podcasts. Me and Elio don't do this because we think, we're so smart and we know all this junk and we're experts. No, we have an opinion about what we see, and we know that it's the same as why sometimes I listen to other podcasts of people, because I'm curious of how other people see stuff, and do I see it the same way? And do I share the likes?
I've been listening to, I listen to different ones. I'm listening to one called Pod of Thunder, all about Kiss. They review every Kiss song.
Pod of Thunder?
Pod of Thunder.
Wow, that sounds like a bad bathroom break from Rolaids. But anyways, Wow. What is it with you and the toilet humor lately, Elio? First you got Pod of Thunder. Last week you were blue balling everybody. Or sorry, black balling everybody. I don't know what's going on. Where is your mind these days? Yes, I only came back to abuse Elio for an hour. No. No, I tell you, folks, that is one of the great things about wrestling. And I think Elio is probably going to agree with this. But wrestling is kind of that one kind of fun consistency. I mean, no matter how bad things go, no matter how rough your week is or good or bad or whatever, there's always some good wrestling that kind of attracts you in, takes you away for a little while. And
wrestling so it never leaves your side.
That's right. And I'm not sure what to say that as being a married man, if I've been cheating on wrestling or wrestling's been cheating on me. I'm not sure. But you know what?
I get that quote from a friend of mine.
I'm not sure what to say right now. But I do have a question for you, Elio. I was thinking about wrestling today. And this is I'm going to talk a little bit about why wrestling and how wrestling became so big to me. And as I'm talking, I want you to think in your head, what is it? And fans, I would love this. If there's any fans out there listening, to send in and answer this question too, okay? The question's simple. What is it that really got you, that made wrestling more? I mean, yeah, you could turn on, there's guys rolling around in spandex and stuff like that. Is there a wrestler? Is there something that happened? And now, for me, I'm going to tell my story. I'm letting Elio get a chance to think of what it was for him.
Okay.
For me, I'm going to click back to 1984. I was 14 years old. Wrestling was a fun weekend thing all the time. I saw Stampede Wrestling every Saturday. I also saw a little show called Maple Leaf Wrestling that the WWE did. And fans, that was absolute craptacular. It was like you got to see mid-card guys beat nobodies every week. You never even got to see the big guys, you know? One of my favorite stories is, and I'm going to take this with a grain of salt and laugh at myself, because if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? But 14 years old, and I'm such a great wrestling fan, that one day I pick up a wrestling magazine, okay? And on the cover of the wrestling magazine was Dusty Rhodes dressed in leather, and it said, "Taking Care of Business Tour," right? Now, at that point, I had never seen Dusty Rhodes, and I had also never seen Hulk Hogan. So I thought this was Hulk Hogan. I thought, well, Hulk Hogan's kind of fat, but okay, I guess he's pretty popular. Yeah. So knowing what I know about wrestling today, and a lot of guys will tell you, I could sit for hours and tell you about the wrestling I've watched. I've watched crap loads of it, and I've retained a lot of it, but I started off at 14 years old thinking that Dusty Rhodes was Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah, because hey, he never showed up on Maple Leaf Wrestling, so I had no clue. So what really got me into wrestling, what the one thing that tipped it over for me was a tape I watched in 85 or 86. By then I'm 16, 17 years old, and I go back and I get this tape which featured Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask from New York in 81 and 82. There was 3 different matches on this. Now, I knew Dynamite Kid because he was, growing up in the Stampede wrestling area, he was a regular. You know, he was also an international Japanese star, but he also wrestled quite a bit in Stampede in Calgary. So I knew who he was. But there was something about those series of matches, Elio, that for me elevated wrestling to to levels I never thought before. That there was something about those matches and the way they were done and what I saw there that etched in my heart that I'd always be a wrestling fan. So I'm going to kick it off to you, Elio. Can you remember, was it what wrestler, what event, what was it that clicked in you and made you the wrestling fan you are today?
Mine was in 1984. I was 10 years old. And it was it had to have been the last week of January, because I walked into school and everyone was talking about Hulk Hogan winning the championship from the Iron Sheik. And I'm trying to figure out, who's this Hulk Hogan character? And so they're all looking at me like I'm some sort of an alien. Like, you don't know who Hulk Hogan is. I'm like, sorry.
At least you didn't think he was Dusty Rhodes. But anyways, go on.
So that Saturday, I'm tuning in at 12 p.m. I started my little ritual every Saturday, 12 p.m. lunch and WPOV Wrestling Challenge, and then at 12 and Maple Leaf Wrestling at 1. And then they'd have the Saturday night one at 7 p.m. That was pretty cool. That was the one you were mentioning.
Yes, Saturday night main event.
So, no, the Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Maple Leaf, sorry. I was...
Yeah, no, Saturday night's main event, I started hearing about that not in '85, but like around '86.
Yeah.
The first one I remember vividly is when Jake the Snake DDT Ricky Steamboat on the concrete floor.
He had it coming. So what about that? What about Hulk Hogan? What about that whole scenario? What made that click in to go, this is what I'm going to be a wrestling fan for life?
Well, because like that was memorable because for me hearing about that match, I went and checked it out, and then I started seeing like all these other guys on my screen every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I like this. I didn't get into this, so I started watching it from there.
Excellent. You know what, fans?
Just took off.
You probably all have a story. If you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure you didn't download our podcast because you thought, oh, I love two weird-looking fellows with glasses talking about wrestling. I'm pretty sure you're a wrestling fan.
Well, they can't really see us; they can only hear us.
That is true.
But I'm sure they can picture us.
Yeah, I just imagine a mullet. Think of a mullet, and you've got Elio before the haircut. Anyways, you're like the Deaners. Hey, we're like the Deaners, aren't we? Anyways,
no.
No, I don't even know how I would describe us. But anyhow, you tuned in because you wanted to hear about wrestling. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit more today. Now, we always go in, we talk about shows, we talk about things. And today we're gonna talk about a little bit about some of the things we see in these shows. What way is working for us? What is not? What's kind of cool? What sucks ass? Well, we're going to find out. But first of all, let's dig into the vault and talk. Well, no, I'm not saying the word vault. Let me say, let us dig in to our reams of paper that I know you have. Elio, let's talk some news. I know you got some rumblings. Tell us all about it, bro.
No, we only have a few to mention. We have one piece of news from AEW. Apparently, Turner's is set to present AEW at their upfronts while there's no contract definitely signed. It's believed that AEW's destination will be TNT, and it is said to be the biggest non-WWE related contract since WCW.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like full circle? I mean, TNT was, back in the day, Turner Broadcasting made WCW. Then they dropped it because they didn't want to be a wrestling show, and now they're coming back again.
Now, what day would you say the AEW would be airing though? I mean, I don't know. Monday Night Wars 2.0.
I don't know. I really don't think it. Okay, I know so many.
I don't think you can really do that again.
I don't think it's a level playing field whatsoever. I mean, let's face it. No matter how good AEW might be, they're basically they're like a toy soldier walking in against the American army. It's overwhelming, and yeah, maybe they're going to make a tiny little cut, and maybe they'll get some fans. But if you think that just because they're going to throw a couple shows and maybe get a TV deal, they're going to topple the WWE empire, you are on the crazy juice, my friend, and you should probably put the bong down because this is not good, not good.
And there are two new signings. Hikaru Shida, it was Japanese wrestler Hikaru Shida was signed to their women's division, as well as indie wrestler Darby Allin is a new signee to AEW.
Now, you know what? It's so funny that you brought up Darby Allin because today I was thinking about how lately I've been a little sour on Jimmy Havoc and his nonsense. And then I thought, I don't want people to think that I don't like wrestlers with edgy characters and stuff like that. Because in my head, I start thinking about Darby Allin, who I've enjoyed a lot. He does a lot of hard stuff. I don't know if you've seen this guy or not, Elio. But
I've never really seen him. I've only seen
his
pictures. I haven't really seen any of his matches, though.
He tends to throw himself into a lot of harm.
Oh, wow.
But he's also not like a blood and guts staple to the head. So
he's not Jimmy Havoc style. He's like... Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would describe him, but fans, I like him. He's a smaller guy. He really wrestles his heart out, and he's willing to do stuff where I would not do, no matter how much you paid me. Darby Allin, I think that's a really interesting signing. I can't say he's not the biggest guy in the world, so I can't say that he's going to make like a giant, I can't say he's going to be like catch the world by the tail, but I think he's going to be interesting. As for the woman wrestler, she was a name. It's sometimes hard to, unless you're in a big forum, to recognize a lot of women wrestlers. I did look her up, and she's a solid hand. And she's definitely got the potential to be right up there. So, interested in her, okay? She's no Io Shirai, though. But then, nobody's Io Shirai in my eyes. Okay, anyways, go on.
Right. And we have, I know you're going to be upset by this, but we have one injury to report.
Oh.
Rhea Ripley is out in an injury. She wrestled Katie Catanzaro at the WrestleMania Access and was spotted wearing a walking boot following the match. And after undergoing more tests, she's expected to be out of action for up to 8 weeks.
You know that Rhea Ripley is my WWE NXT UK equivalent of Io Shirai. She's amazingly beautiful. I love this girl. And it makes me upset that she's hurt. I hope it's minor because we need to see more Rhea Ripley back on TV.
Yeah, hopefully it's not serious, but 8 weeks, so it doesn't seem to be as that serious.
Well, you know what? It also
it's a torn ligament is what it says.
Okay, well, you know what? It also kind of illustrates how unfair life can be. I mean, Rhea Ripley gets hurt and Ginny still wrestles? What's going on? Anyways, go on.
How does that work?
Yeah, how does that work? There's no justice.
Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. So that was all we have for rumblings.
Okay. Well, you know what? Usually at this time we take a look at our poll. We run a poll every week. This week, fans, and okay, before I give the numbers on this poll, I want to ask what you thought. We asked, was the G1 Super Show in MSG awesome or just another show? What did you think, Elio?
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was, again, this was my first G1 Super card, and I didn't think it was that bad. The opening match was pretty solid, as all Jeff Cobb matches are, and I could have done without the Bully Ray match, but that's a whole nother story. Other than that, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, you know what? I thought it was I would have put it under awesome because I thought up and down it was a solid card. I mean, the ROH guys were good. The New Japan guys were awesome. I mean, this wasn't like, they sent some guys in and they just kind of slugged through some matches. These dudes put on a show. And fans, you know what? Yeah, you let me down on this one because 44% of you put awesome. 56% said lame.
How do you call it just another show? Oh, that's just another, that was my first. That was like me going to my first WrestleMania, which was 18. To me, that was awesome because I was there live.
Yeah.
Like even though the card might not have been the best, but just being there live.
Well, I think if you looked at the entire card, except you're right, the Bully Ray stuff was a little bit. But the rest of that card, there was some solid matches. There's 2 matches we put into the vault for free. Pete's sakes on there.
Yeah.
And there was 2 matches that came close to being nominated. So I don't know what you fans wanted. Nobody blew up. Nobody chainsawed each other. I'm not sure what you wanted out of this, but it sure in the heck was better than the over-bloated long WrestleMania,
And actually, just to go back to the rumblings for a minute, the main event, the 4 names that main evented, that Supercard will be back for the G1 Climax in Dallas, Texas on July 6th.
Sounds like... Well, read out those names. Do you have them? Just for the fans who don't know.
Let's see. I don't believe I have the names. I know Kazuchika Okada will be there.
And will Naito?
That's one name.
Naito. And I'm going to guess that... We said the first 4, right?
The first 4, the main eventers.
Okay, so then we're also looking at Ibushi.
Yeah, Kota Ibushi, yes.
And Jay White. There you go. There's the 4 guys. All right. This will be really interesting. Let's take a quick look right now. Okay, fans, we got the poll. 56% said it was kind of 44% awesome. The 44%, you're smart. The 56% of you put down the pipe. All right. Let's move in to New Japan right now, since we're already slightly talking about it. First of all, the road to Dontaku has been started.
That's how you say it. I've been mispronouncing it all weekend.
Don't worry. My wife asked me who's Don's Tacos and why am I watching it. And I'm like, no, this has nothing to do with that. Okay, now obviously I'm not sure yet who. Because I haven't looked in hard enough yet, and we're going to have to, it'll become obvious. A lot of these road to matches set up what's going to be on the actual Dontaku match, right? So you're going to see Okada in 6-man, 8-man, even maybe tag team matches. And on the other side will be the guy that he's going to face at Dontaku, and I'm not sure who it is. I'm having a feeling it's either Sonata or Naito. Okay, and if it's not, I don't. To be honest, I think it's going to be Sonata because Naito's a little quick. You want to milk that out for a bigger card.
Okay.
Sonata, solid guy, but not exactly in the upper echelon. So this is a chance for him to rise up and make a great showing of himself. This could make him a superstar if he comes out looking good against Okada. He doesn't even have to win. He just puts on a solid performance. He's made himself a step higher in the eyes of the New Japan wrestling fans.
Now, this Dontaku, this is their next big pay-per-view?
Yes, Dontaku will be the next big show.
Okay.
Yeah, because they don't really do pay-per-views. I mean, all that stuff you're seeing... And
right. Oh, okay, right.
I mean, folks, it's a little tough. First night, I watched the first night. Yep. We talked about it. There were only 2 singles matches the entire time, and it was Young Lions, so they didn't mean much. And then the rest of the matches were all just 6-man tag team or whatever.
And the main event was highlighted by his 10-man tag match.
A 10-man tag match, So,
wow.
And there was no English commentary on this one. Made it a little bit rough to sit through all that Japanese.
That was what took me 3 tries to get through it.
I know. I mean, I'm used to it after years of doing this, but I get what it's like. So Dontaku definitely will be a bigger show, the actual show itself. It will have Kevin Kelly doing English in it, so that'll be good. But let's talk really quickly. Let's preview these first 4 guys entering into the G1. Okay?
Okay.
Now, we take a look at Naito, who he seems like he's been on the cusp of the last year or 2 of breaking out even higher. He's extremely popular. He's got a great move set. He looks good in there. He would be a guy that I would think would be someone to keep your eye on, that he could take this tournament and make himself number 1 contender for Wrestle Kingdom. I could see that easily. Okada has it rough, okay? The champ going into the G1 is always a tough thing. He has 10 matches to face. If he manages to lose any of those matches, that guy gets a title shot against him. So
the person that beats him gets a title shot.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean they'll be the person who faces at Wrestle Kingdom. It means that the next Dontaku type show or whatever, they'll get a title shot. Okay? So he's got a target on his back. If he's not careful, he could have 10 dudes lined up to take shots at him, right? Potentially.
Oh no!
If he wins. And I'm not sure how this is even a win, but if he manages to win the G1 as champion, he gets to choose who he defends the belt against at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh.
So that's an interesting kind of thing, too. If I was him, I'd put
this is setting up
Sorry?
This is setting up next year's Wrestle Kingdom then as well.
This is always it. The winner of the G1 becomes the guy who gets to fight in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. Okay? Now, Jay White, I'm not sure if this is Jay White's year for this tournament. Although a solid tournament might keep him in the eyes of people. I think he looked great in his last couple matches, but I still think there's a lot of people who don't see him as a superstar yet. And
it was surprising to see him lose the title
that quick,
that quick.
Now, I don't see him, in my prediction for him, I don't see Jay White winning this tournament. I see him doing a solid, strong showing, but I don't see him winning it. And let's take a look at the 4th guy in there, Kota Ibushi. Now, Ibushi, this is the first year in probably his career, I think, that he actually has signed a full-time deal with New Japan. He's been in and out, he's been guesting, he's been, but he hasn't had a full-time, which is probably why we haven't seen him carry a belt in a long time. Now he's the Intercontinental Champion. I think he is going to do okay in this tournament, but I don't think he's going to make it to the quarterfinals. That's my prediction.
I'm sorry, Kota Ibushi is the Intercontinental?
Yes, he beat Naito, remember, at the G1 Super Show?
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
Now, he also has it hard because every person that he loses to during the tournament, he has to give a title shot to down the road also.
Oh, wow.
So the champion's any champion entering this tournament runs that risk. And that includes the heavyweight champion, Okada. That includes the Intercontinental champion. That includes the U.S. champion. Who is their U.S. champion right now? Is it still Juice Robinson?
Wow.
I think it might still be Juice Robinson. I can't remember right now. But if he loses any matches in the tournament, and he had a rough G1 last year. He won 2 matches. If he goes in with that, it means he could have 8 contenders again if he has the same year.
So how does this one work? Because they just had day 1. When is day 2 coming up?
Sorry, of G1?
Of
Dontaku.
Road to,
Okay, the road to Dontakus are just basically I guess the best way fans to be put it is imagine that the WWE was coming to New York for WrestleMania.
Right.
Okay, all the little house shows along the way are the road to WrestleMania. So basically, all the Dontaku Road to shows are just the little kind of setting up what could happen, kind of titillate you a bit to watch what's coming on, but they usually don't have any repercussions.
Because the road to Wrestle Kingdom had day 1, day 2, day 3, all
yeah,
after the other.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they do it. To be honest, I don't know what the New Japan schedule is like. It could be just 4 or 5 days. It could be 1 day. Hell, it could be 20 days. So we're going to have to see. The last thing I wanted to say is, as we were talking about champions going into G1, right? I guess Jeff Cobb, he's got the open weight championship for them. If he loses once, he has to put it up. And here's the crazy part. The Guerrillas of Destiny are the current tag team champions. And usually every year, Tama Tonga enters. Now, as tag team champion, if Tama Tonga loses any of the matches he's in, the person who beats him gets a tag team title shot with whatever partner he wants against the Guerrillas of Destiny.
Oh, wow.
So champions
have
it rough going into G1.
Wow.
And imagine, G1 is also a round-robin tournament where you're going to face 10 other guys, and then you go on to the semis and the quarters. So basically, this thing runs over almost an entire month, and you're wrestling. Not only are you wrestling almost every day, you wrestle 1 day in the tournament, and then the next day is the preview of the upcoming turn of who you're. Suppose you're Jeff Cobb. The first night, say you face Will Ospreay for the tournament. Then the next night, suppose in 2 nights from then, you're scheduled to face Tanahashi. Well, the next night, you're going to face Tanahashi in a tag team match to give the fans a sample of what's coming.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how that works, okay? So we have the first 4 entries. So far, as we're sitting today, I'm going to make the prediction of these 4 guys. I think Naito is going to win. Okay. I think he will win the tournament. I don't think Okada will. I think Jay White will have a stronger showing than people expect, and I think that Ibushi will not have the best showing, but he'll have a half-ass showing.
Okay.
All right? So, fans, that is our look at New Japan Wrestling this week. Let's go over to ROH. Let's talk about this week's ROH TV program.
ROH this week, okay, so... actually, I had mentioned I was watching Masters of the Craft over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, not over the weekend. Actually,
sorry, what did you call it?
Masters of the Craft.
Oh, ROH. I think you said Masters of the Baits. Got it. Okay, Masters of the Craft. Got it. I was like, come on, you're such a dirty
TJ, where's your mind?
Such a dirty guy.
TJ, where's your mind? Where's your mind at? Okay, so for ROH, I did see Master of the Craft. I didn't watch all of it, but the show after that we had Shane Taylor defeating Luchasaurus, and this was just what you expect from a Shane Taylor match. Wasn't much. I'm not a Shane Taylor fan.
No, but you know what? Do you think Luchasaurus is really a luchador mixed with a dinosaur? Do you think they really did that? No. Okay. I dig him. I actually dig Luchasaurus. Fans.
Yeah, he has that look. He has a unique look to him.
Fans who haven't seen Luchasaurus, check this guy out. He must be what, like 6'2", 6'3". He's a great big dude who's painted himself kind of green. So he looks like he's kind of an alien, but he's dressed all in green. And his story is, I guess, he's half dinosaur or something. I'm not sure. But he is Luchasaurus, and he's hilarious as hell. And he's a pretty good wrestler. Shane Taylor, I like to think of him as a colossal waste of oxygen and food. All right.
Yo. Then we had a Women of Honor's tag team match. Sumi Sakai and Mayu Iwatani defeating Katie Forbes and Maserati. And during the match, Allure came out. And, of course, they ended up distracting, I think, I'm not sure who it was. If it was Forbes or Maserati, one of them. Mm-hmm. But, anyway, spraying hairspray or whatever in their eyes.
The hairspray in the eyes trick. I've seen that many
times.
And
then in the main event, now, I believe this was the first, match on the road to the Crockett Cup.
Okay.
And it was the Briscoes defeating the team of Jeff Cobb and Willie Mack.
Big team. Big teams, actually. Willie Mack and Jeff Cobb. You're looking at 2 big boys. who throw people around.
Anytime Jeff Cobb and Willie Mack does a moonsault,
Yes.
I just like sit there. I'm like, how do they do that?
They're
I'm just like, can
humongous.
they do a moonsault?
And let's face it, the Briscoes are always a danger for any kind of tag team out there.
Oh yeah. No, I'm still trying to figure out the Briscoes heels or faces or what. Or
They're called tweeners, man. They are badass dudes who just do whatever the hell they want, and they're so talented you'll like them.
I mean, at Masters of the Craft, they had their share of fans cheering for them.
Well, how can you? It's like when you see a great wrestler, you gotta cheer him.
Yep.
You know who never?
No, that's why I was.
Okay, sorry.
No, I was saying that's why I was trying to figure out, like, are they heels or faces? Because they had their share of fans on Sunday night.
Well.
But they're pretty good. I like them.
What would you give the show overall this week?
I'm gonna give it a B.
A B? Yeah. Yeah, I'd give it a solid B. I mean, one of the things I find weird is how ROH is recognizing NWA stuff. Nick Aldis keeps showing up. Now they got guys going to the Crockett Cup.
It's like on Sunday night. They had the commentary up at the top of the stage, and through the whole night, well, until his match, Nick Aldis was just standing there. And, he defended his championship against Cole Cabana, who won by DQ.
Now, here's the thing is, I don't understand why ROH is giving NWA... I mean, NWA better be paying a lot of money, because ROH doesn't need NWA. Just saying.
Yeah, right. Like, that's confusing. Like, since when did the NWA championship become defended on ROH event?
Yeah, it's just weird to me, but... You know what? This week's show, ROH, I'll give it a solid B, too. All right? Now, fans, we're going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we're going to talk some NXT UK. We're going to talk some Impact and some MLW. We're going to act like we know some stuff, which we really don't. The usual crap. But anyways, we'll see you fans in a few minutes.
All right, stay tuned.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers. And you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out. So save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
This is Flip Gordon, and you are listening to Wrestling POV Podcast.
Oh, fans, we are back. You know what? It's time for WWE NXT UK. Boy, I've seen like I'm going to throw the alphabet soup out there, but you know what? It is a fun show. And let's look at this week's show because there are parts of it I really liked. And as you can guess, there are parts of it that just made me go, Argh.
And someone might go back in the book.
Someone is definitely going back in the book. His crap is... We mentioned it. We said if he brought it up again, he would... Okay, anyhow. We start off our match. The Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks, taking on Cassius Ohno.
Oh, no.
Oh, no is right. Dude, that dude's got to definitely wear better clothes because, oh, no, seeing him on my TV in high def is pretty gross.
Oh, man.
Interesting match. Travis Banks, definitely, I was a little impressed. He really took it to Ohno. Sometimes Ohno annoys me because it seems like he wrestles like he doesn't really, I don't know, like he's like almost self-mocking it, you know what I mean?
Like he doesn't care.
Yeah, like he's just like, yeah, I'm getting a paycheck. Here you go. I'll just do a few things. It was nice to see him lose. Bizarre looking roll up. I mean, looking at that, I was impressed. Like, who could ever get out of that in a 3 count? Banks looking good. Ohno, well, he was Ohno, I guess.
Now they call this one move that he did that Ohno does, the Rubik's Cube.
The Rubik's Cube.
I'm like, what? Did I hear that right?
I don't know.
I had to go back and listen to it. I'm like, okay, wow.
Yeah, I think he did.
I've never heard of.
He does a hair move called the Pubix Cube, but I'm not sure what that's about either. So, anyhow, going on in the show now, we get to see Piper Niven coming out and calling out Rhea Ripley, which I got to tell you is major confusion in my heart because I love Rhea Ripley, but I kind of got to think for Piper Niven. So. You know, redhead Scottish girls, except Kaylee Ray, who's probably 108 right now. But anyways, sorry, no, I take that back. Kaylee Ray is pretty awesome. It's just, she really looks like she's been in the ringer lately. So, okay, So we get to see a squash match with Piper Niven beating up Killer Kelly. And you got to know if your name's Killer Kelly, you're not going to get too far in the wrestling world. That's pretty sad.
No.
But Piper Niven pretty much destroys her. And I mean, it was a squash match, kids. This was like me sitting back and watching Maple Leaf Wrestling kind of squash match.
Yeah, I mean, I was taking down notes. I just took down 2 points. That's it.
She killed her. Point number 2, they took a spatula to get Killer Kelly off the ring. We had some kind of lame... I'm sorry, sometimes when guys... I don't really think that NXT has sometimes the best promos, like UK.
No.
And Zach Gibson and James Drake are just terrible promos. I like it when they wrestle.
Oh, my...
But listening
No, wait,
to
I have a question. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Does James Drake even talk? Because it seems like it's
Yeah.
Adelia that does most of the
Sorry.
talking. It's not Gibson. It's all the talking.
Good point. Yeah, I don't know. He just really looks lost a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then there was an awkward interview with Mustache Mountain. Their interviews are always awkward.
It really is. They got to, they're great wrestlers. Like Mustache Mountain, really fun team to watch. Most ridiculous name ever. They should be called Must Mash Mountains. That's because my son called my mustache for a long time Must Mash. He's only 3, so don't judge him.
Okay.
Now, okay, you know what? The next match, Joseph Connors. He's kind of vanilla to me. He's kind of like there's nothing that it really stands out about this guy.
Yeah, I don't like Joseph Connors. Yeah.
But Jack Stars, I mean, when he walked out, I was like, oh, there's the little guy that Walter killed on his debut. He's definitely getting his butt kicked.
I was just about to say, that was the last time we saw this guy. Last time we saw him, Walter was powerbombing the crap out of him.
Yeah, so you kind of knew that Joseph Connors was going to have an easy night here. And he did, Jack Stars, smaller guy that just isn't talented enough to be on 205.
Now, here's something else that I have a question about.
Okay.
Why are we seeing a promo for Dave Mastiff coming soon when we've already seen him compete?
Yeah, and another question is, who the hell cares? Dave Mastiff sucks. Okay. Seriously. Okay, yeah, he's a big, tall man. He's scary if you were 5'4".
Yeah, so he defeated Eddie Kingston, or Eddie, whatever his name was.
Was in Kingston, for sure. Dave Mastiff is, I don't know, man. It was like, who cares? If you're going to waste my time and give me a promo, give me somebody who's going to be interesting. And it's definitely not him or Joseph Connors to be that. Moving on. The main event, okay?
Main event.
Tony Storm.
Your favorite loss to Tony Storm.
Yeah. No. Your favorite.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
I wish I was. Okay, I'm gonna break our rule here because we have no choice. It is the main event. But Tony Storm had to face, yes, I'm gonna say this horrible name, Jenny. And Jenny is, first of all, Jenny has the most awkward female wrestling body I've ever seen. She doesn't look like a wrestler whatsoever. I'm gonna say she impressed me a tiny bit because she had a few things that looked cool. She took it to Tony Storm. But she has so much stink on her for the way she's been wrestling and the way they built her up that she just has too much stink on her for me. I don't like her. I don't like her at all.
Yep.
Tony Storm, love Tony Storm. She looked great in there. She wrestled really well. And I hope this means that we don't see Ginny for a while, or, at least in the forefront, because she got her ass handed to her. She didn't really do anything special here. She didn't come out looking any better. So hopefully this is a one-off. Tony Storm's got her eyes set on someone else now.
Yes, please, let's move on from this one.
Now, you know what? This brings me up something really that... we're going to get to it, but we have somebody who's going back in the book directly because of Ginny and her crap and whatever. But we're going to get to that when we get to our book today. And let's just say we promised this person, had they broken our trust and did what we said they shouldn't do, if they did it, they were going back in the book. That's right. It's somebody who came out of the book. He's going back in today. I don't care if it's kicking or screaming. That guy's going back in. All right. Now, you know what? Let's. I always joke about we've seen good wrestling. Let's hit the toilet and see Impact. Well, yeah, it's true. Let's hit the
Impact Wrestling. Oh my goodness!
And you know what?
So let's see.
Here, fans. Before we get to this, I got to tell you this. Every week, me and Elio split up the things. Last week, I said to him, you know what? Let's change things up. I'll do NXT UK this week. You do ROH. And in my heart, I was like, I just can never see myself saying, I'll do Impact.
Yeah, TJ always seems a crap to me.
I'm afraid I have to, man. Impact is just horrible. But go on. Maybe there's something.
Okay.
Let's sift through the turds and see if there's somebody swallowed a penny.
Okay, so Impact opens up with Moose defeating Wentz of the Rascals with a spear.
I will say this: Moose looks pretty darn good lately. He can still be annoying when he talks, but the guy can wrestle. I'm going to give him that. He's impressive.
I wonder, does it seem that he's like breaking away from Killer Cross and all that since Impact turned heel?
I hope so. And in my heart of hearts, he joins up with somebody named Squirrel. I need Moose and Squirrel. Okay.
Rocky and Bullwinkle, future tag team champions.
Oh no, he teams up with Rocky Romero. Moose and
damn.
Squirrel. All right. Next.
Now, of course, we have Rob Van Dam back in Impact Wrestling, which we will put on.
Next.
The next match, I'm just gonna say Su Yung versus Rosemary, no contest.
Next.
Move on.
Crap. Next.
Then we had the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defeating El Reverso and Sheldon, I believe the other one's name is.
Good old El Reverso. Now, the North. Ethan Page, I've enjoyed a little bit. I've seen potential in him. Love what he's doing here. I know they've been long-time tag teams. Josh Alexander, I've known this guy for quite a few years. Had a chance to interview him a few times way back in the past. Good, solid wrestler. Enjoy him. Trained by Johnny Devine. Really good wrestler.
In the next match, we had Madison Rayne defeating Tessa Blanchard after Gail Kim distracted her when she was about to use a steel chair.
Now, if I'm Tessa Blanchard, I have to be PO'd at Impact. I mean, you sign a big deal, and now you're jobbing out to every old lady they bring out there.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you know what I mean? She's going to job to Gail Kim. She's jobbed to Madison Rayne. Jordan Grace has beaten her. I mean, why did she think it was a good idea to sign with Impact? I don't know. They wanted to take somebody who was probably one of the best independent women wrestlers and make them another girl? I don't know.
And then we had our main event. It was a mixed tag team match. Johnny Impact and Taya Valkyrie defeating Brian Cage and Jordan Grace with help from referee Johnny Bravo, who trips up Cage, allowing Impact to follow up with a kick for the win. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Grace, and I'm starting to like Cage a little bit, but man, Valkyrie and Morrison are just snooze.
No, they need to
snooze.
go. My goodness. Why are they... They don't have to, just because he's a champion. It doesn't mean he has to be in the main event every week.
Yeah, especially since he's boring as crap and not very believable.
He is boring.
This is why I'm not the biggest Impact fan. I mean, you've got great wrestlers on your card, in your company, and this is the main event. I don't know. I know one thing we didn't bring up, and believe it or not, I'm usually not a big fan of painfully done vignettes, but Killer Cross and Willie Mack kind of intrigues me a bit. Kind of intrigues me. Would Willie Mack turn on Rich Swann? Interesting stuff.
That's right, because I forget that took place, I believe, before the match. Killer Cross was talking to Willie Mack, telling him to think about his future.
So usually, I would not always look at that kind of junk, right? But I don't know. That is one storyline that slightly intrigues me. So I'm going to give this week's Impact. I'm going to give it a C-.
Yeah, I'm going to go with C-. Now, that brings up a good point, actually, because in Impact, if they were to go with this, that would make Willie Mack a heel and Rich Swann a face, where in MLW, Rich Swann is a heel. Okay, yeah,
I was actually going to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. This is where I find it very confusing, because Rich Swann is such a strong character in both companies. I mean, he is like babyface, super in-your-face babyface in Impact, but he has got this over-the-top, ridiculous bad guy persona going on in MLW, and it's confusing every week that they're highlighting him quite a bit on both shows.
And he's teaming with the guy I can't stand.
Which one? Okay,
Myron Reed.
Oh, thank God, because if you said Willie Mack, I was going to have to lay the smack down on you. Because Willie Mack rocks. Yeah, Myron Reed, eh? He's about as thick as a reed. Terrible. Let's get to them. You know what? Let's get into MLW this week. Let's talk some MLW, all right?
Okay.
Show starts off. We get to see a little bit from Battle Riot. Did you end up watching Battle Riot 2 at all?
I still have to watch that.
Okay.
I'm going to get to it, though.
I'm going to tell you, fans, Tom Lawler defending against Jimmy Havoc is bloody as all hell. It's gross. Havoc takes a staple gun to Lawler's head like 6 or 7 times.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's terrible. I like Lawler. Lawler looks freaky, dude. He shaved clean for this match. He doesn't even look at. I was like, that's Tom Lawler? That's what he looks like under there? Huh.
Actually, when I saw him, I was trying to share who that was.
Yeah.
Because I normally see Tom Lawler with his beard.
Yeah, filthy is the best word for him. All right, this week's episode, we got another match that was right off of Battle Riot. We got to see Brian Pillman versus MJF. And surprisingly in this, okay, yeah, you wanted to bring this up, so go ahead, bring up the MJF things. What are fans
Oh,
always
yes,
joking
on MLW, they mentioned this video that's been floating around the internet of MJF at 5 years old appearing as a guest on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
And isn't it crazy his name is really MJF?
MJF Max. He was introduced as Max Friedman. Rosie had him singing "You Are My Sunshine" on the show.
And he was such a little douchebag, too. Just like he is now. It was amazing.
So many, do you have any brothers or sisters? One sister. How old is she? I don't remember. Wow.
It was... What surprises me, though, is Brian Pillman Jr. getting the win over MJF. Bit of a surprise. I know they're in the middle of this big feud, and maybe... I don't know. I never really see Pillman as that great of a wrestler, but it seems like the fans in MLW really like him.
Well, they did send Holiday and Hammerstone back to the back.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, Brian Pillman has only been wrestling for a little while, and I still see some rawness in him. But MJF has been around for a while. He's a pretty talented wrestler, so I just don't know. It just surprised me. It was a surprising move.
I do have to say, we didn't get to see an H2 promo this week, which I liked.
That I really like. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go on to because none of the actual backstage things this week really were all that great. But so let's skip to a team I know you love in your heart so much. Myron Reed and Rich Swann taking on...
I'm sure you're mistaken.
taking on Lance Anoa'i and Jimmy Uda. This is one of those matches, I kind of hate when companies do this because, Lance Anoa'i and Jimmy Uda, they barely wrestle for MLW.
Yep, and apparently they said this was Lance Anoa'i's debut, MLW debut.
Yeah, so did you really think Myron Reed and Rich Swann, who have a big story going on, I think it's ridiculous that they come out with they're mad because they beat up a referee and got suspended. Okay.
You beat up a referee, which you think was going to happen?
Yeah, so we're supposed to be sympathetic for whatever. Just stupid. I like Jimmy Uda. I've seen him in some stuff before, hoping he gets a chance down the road to show more of his stuff because he's an interesting wrestler with a good look. Myron Reed and Rich Swann taking the win. Like I said, so annoying to see Rich Swann being two different people every week.
Yep.
Yeah. So, main event. Your good friend, Los Angeles Park.
Los Angeles Park's open contract answered by Sami Callihan.
Interesting. Now, folks who, we dump on Sami Callihan a lot because he's crappy and deserves it. But this is so weird that he's in this position where he's almost the good guy here,
I think I even heard the announcer saying, Sammy's got some fans here tonight. Really? Did you say Sami Callihan's fans?
It's got to be friends. It's got to be friends of OVE, friends and family. LA Park gets the win. They're really pushing the crap out of LA Park. I mean, he won. He won Battle Riot. Now he's won this. I mean, the guy's 87 years old. So does he really? Do you really think a match of him and Tom Lawler is going to be that great? I don't know.
Not really.
I don't know. Got to see our boy Mance a little bit on the show. He didn't get to wrestle, but...
No, but he did a backstage interview where he answered Sami Callihan's challenge for next week.
And you know what? I love Mance. More Mance,
And then
less Callahan.
I love how the way he talks to the interviewer.
Yeah.
Leap it up, leap it down. Now you get some light beer.
You know what the best thing is? He actually does knee pad up and knee pad down in his matches.
I love it.
That guy is so great. So this week's show, you know what? I'm gonna give it a B plus. Okay.
B plus because Mance is always entertaining.
Yeah, Mance really kind of pushes it a little bit over. It was a little more. It had a little more personality than ROH did this week. Mm-hmm. And
yes,
for that reason, I'm going to give it. We forgot to give a rating to NXT UK. I'm going to give it a B minus because, first of all, Jenny is a waste of time. I don't know why she would ever make the main event. And
that is so weird. I don't know how did she get into main event. She's not main event.
She's not material at all. No.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna go with C minus on that one.
All right. You know what? Now the more I talk about NXT UK, my anger's coming back. So I think we better open the Book of Shame because we know some MFers going back in there. We warned them. So do you have the book open yet? Dun, dun,
I do have the book open.
Read who we have in there now and see if they've made it out of the book this week.
First, we have that NXT backstage interviewer.
The NXT. Oh yeah, no. You know what? This coincides with who's going on. Now that guy stays. He said a word that. Okay, next.
Then we have Facade.
Facade, you'll forever be in there with Callahan. But not in the mean way. You're just kind of goofy looking as all hell.
We have that word that starts with F.
Oh, this is the word. Okay, fans, if you have just watched the show a lot, you just keep hearing us refer to the word. This is a word I'm going to say right now that I promise I'm not going to say for 4 episodes or 5 episodes, maybe 6. And maybe down the road, if people might forget, Elio might mention the word then too, only so you guys can learn to hate the word as much as we do. And that word is fashionista. The stupidest word I've ever heard attached to a women's wrestler. Now that NXT guy that we had in the beginning there, that jerk off said it, so he's in there. And this week we're putting somebody back in for using that word again, but we'll get to the end of the list.
Yep. And then there's Jimmy Havoc.
Jimmy Havoc, gross. You stay in, buddy.
Madman Fulton.
Ugh. Yeah. You know what? Let's face it. OVE guys, they're all going to be staying in.
Yep. The one fall chant.
I only heard it once this week, so that was kind of nice. I'm starting to get indifferent. I'm starting to not care. Maybe. Okay. So I don't know if you want it in or out. I'm very indifferent.
It doesn't really matter to me.
Let's take it out for now. When it starts to annoy us, we'll put it back in.
Like I've just learned to tune it out.
Yeah. It's not as annoying as I thought it would be.
And of course, I won't mention the other 3 OVEs because, of course, with Fulton it's 4. So
yeah. You know what?
And then we have
Sammy Callahan is the reason we made this book. So yeah, he's never getting out.
And then we have Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, he gets his own chapter. He's another wiener that we're going to keep in there.
And the newest one, going back in.
Are you ready for this, fans? Are we ready? Hey, let's set up one of those you made the Book of Shame thing.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Rick, are you there?
All right. The guy going in. The guy who was in there at one time. And we put him in there because here's a guy that you respect. Here's a guy who was a great wrestler, a great announcer, but when he starts pulling jerk-off crap, like using the word fashionista and trying to make that sound like it's cool, I'm sorry, Nigel McGuinness, you have lost all respect for me. Get your ass back in the book.
Nigel McGuinness is now back in the book.
All right.
You just made the book! Oh, shame.
Sorry, Nigel, you brought this crap on yourself. Well, you know what? Let's look at a cooler book. Let's look open the vault. You know what?
Okay, let's open the vault.
We'll open the vault. I know because there's a match that I want to nominate, and if you're interested, we'll put it in there. I realized. Okay. Well, first of all, let's see the matches that are in there now, and see what we got.
Okay, so far in the matches that we have in the vault, we have Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi from Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
The Lucha Brothers versus LAX for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Mance Warner versus Los Angeles Park Deathmatch. From G1 Supercard, Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito and Jeff Cobb versus Will Ospreay.
Okay, and those are the ones we have so far, right?
Those are the ones you have so far.
Now, the one match I'm going to nominate next is, I guess I didn't really bring it up because it didn't, well, it should have fallen under our banner, but it didn't, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that is WWE NXT UK champion Walter winning that belt from Pete Dunne at TakeOver.
Okay.
Now, I get that it fell on a TakeOver show, but basically there are guys guesting in there, and it was our belt. So I say I would like to nominate this match because I thought it was a tremendous match.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yep, definitely.
All right.
That was a great match.
Let's put her in there.
Okay.
Now, we've come to that final few minutes of the show, folks. You know what? We've had a lot of fun talking wrestling. Hopefully we've stimulated some stuff.
We forgot something.
Did we forget something?
The time for the belt.
Oh, I guess we're going to have to go look back that and tell our technician. But you know what? Folks, it's been a great week of wrestling, just like always. We have some good stuff coming up. I'm pretty sure New Japan's going to have a lot more to talk about next week because the road to Dontaku will have a bunch of matches, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. I am going on vacation, Elio, tomorrow night, but I am still going to be following wrestling, and I will be back in time for us to shoot the match, or to shoot our show next week. And I will definitely be keeping up, and I'll be keeping in contact with you.
Okay.
Let's hope this week is a little better than last week for me. Okay?
All right.
Plus, let's face it, folks, this is my 25th episode in a row. I could not skip out, right? Make it to 24 and skip out? That doesn't make sense. So, yeah, it was a tough week, but you know what? My love of wrestling, my love of you fans, and my love of Elio here brought me all back. I'm glad. You know what?
Oh, you forgot one person.
Who did I? If you say Miguel Cole, I swear to God.
Alanis Morissette.
I have sinned. I am so sorry, Alanis. This is how distracted I've been that I forgot the savior of my heart. The only woman who could make Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley seem like, they're okay.
Oh, damn.
Alanis Morissette. Thank you, Alanis. You know what? All of Canada is holding our hearts right now, thinking of Alanis Morissette. Wow, that sounded weird. All right. Elio, you maniac. Tell the people. Okay, first of all, you know what? Before we tell you people how to get a hold of us, don't forget to watch those maniacs over at WPOV Wrestling. Okay? These guys.
Yeah, their shows are great. And I don't know what happened to their show this past week, but something got messed up. Their technician.
I love how they did a 2-hour show. It got all lost. But Tony went ahead, did 40 minutes to try and, or maybe it was 20 minutes, but he went in and did like a minor show to catch people up, try and condense all of that in, and yet he still had the time to insult me in his show. All right, no. Tony, if that's the way we're going to play, you think the puppet's scared. I got nothing. Anyhow, and hey, did you notice that they had a hater comment of the week? And he was the same guy. He was one of the few guys that actually commented on our poll last week. He said some nice stuff about Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Thomas James Little got the hater comment of the week.
I thought it was pretty funny. He called those 3 foreign wrestlers, what was it? No green card or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny. Oh well, I guess maybe sometimes Canadian humor doesn't quite translate with Americans. I don't know. This little guy though, he made me laugh, but I guess he didn't make the other guys laugh. Now, Elio, tell everyone where they can get a hold of us on. Before I got out of hand, every Saturday, check out WPOV. These guys, you got Tony, the meanest man in the world. Talking about, he's leading the troop with Mimi. He's got Rick Serrano, what was he, third or turd? I can never remember. And the
third.
And the sock puppet, isn't it called Lamb Chop or something? I don't know. Maybe Miguel Lamb Chop. I don't know. But those guys, those maniacs, have a pretty fun time talking WWE.
Yep.
They cover it all, man. They cover all the WWE stuff except UK, which we do. Check them out. Fun time. They're every Saturday. We're every Wednesday. But hey, I want to hear your memories, folks. I want to hear what got you into wrestling. Leave a comment. And hey, maybe you just want to, type in and say, hey, TJ, you were awesome, and Elio was just barely getting by. I get that. Take your chance.
Oh, damn. Oh,
Damn snap, brother. Anyways, tell the people where they can find us, and then tell them where they can write us. Heck, tell them whatever you want, Elio. I'm listening.
Yeah, you can find us all at Wrestling POV Podcast on Facebook, Wrestling POV on Instagram, Wrestling POV1 on Twitter, and we are on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean.
Is that it?
And
sorry, you lost me.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. We're not on, I don't know. I was going to make something up. We're not on Zoom. I don't know.
No, Zoom is a real app.
Oops.
Sorry. That's a real app.
Are we on Zoom?
I have.
Are we on Zoom?
Nope.
Oh, well, screw you, Zoom. All right. Folks, we've had a fun time as always. We wish you guys the best of the week. We'd like to throw, like we say, we do think of not only you fans in the U.S., not only you fans across Canada, but there are a lot of countries that we're seeing that are downloading us right now. I want to say a big privyet to our Russian fans. I want to say hello to our Korean fans, our Chinese fans, our English, Irish, and German. And what other countries were we getting in there? Do you remember? Did we get any Australians? I don't know. They're upside down. If you believe
Did we say China?
I said China.
You said China.
Yeah. And according to Flat Earthers, the Australians are only Spanish actors hired to pretend anyways. So, anyhow, fans, have yourselves a great week. Elio, say goodbye to the people.
All right, take care.